Sarah thought she knew everything about Marcus, the private jets, the penthouse, the billion-dollar empire. But when she found the fake passport in this drawer with a completely different name, her world shattered. The man she loved, the man she was about to marry, didn't exist. What she did next shocked everyone. Before we begin, write in the comments what city you're watching from. And at the end, don't forget to rate this story from 0 to 10. Enjoy watching. The Perfect Goodbye. The morning light streams through the floor-to-ceiling windows of Marcus's Manhattan penthouse, casting golden shadows across the marble floors. Sarah sits on the edge of their king-sized bed, watching the man she loves fold his expensive suits into a designer suitcase with military precision. "London again?" she asks, tucking her legs beneath her silk nightgown. Marcus doesn't look up from his packing. His jaw is tense, more than usual. "Just 3 days. The Morrison deal needs my personal attention." Sarah studies his face. After 2 years together, she knows every line, every expression. Something feels different today. His movements are too careful, too rehearsed. "You've been to London 4 times this month," she says softly. "Business is business, sweetheart." He finally meets her eyes, and for a split second, she sees something she's never seen before. Fear? Guilt? It's gone before she can be sure. Marcus closes the suitcase and walks over to her. He cups her face in his hands, his thumb tracing her cheekbone. "I'll be back before you know it." Their kiss is desperate, hungry. His hands tangle in her dark hair, pulling her closer. Sarah feels like he's trying to memorize her, like he's saying goodbye forever. Her heart pounds against her chest. "I love you," he whispers against her lips. "I love you too." The words feel heavy in her throat. Marcus pulls away, grabbing his suitcase and heading toward the door. Cars waiting downstairs. Sarah follows him to the entrance hall, her bare feet silent on the cold marble. She watches him check his watch, his phone, his wallet. He's nervous. Marcus is never nervous. "Marcus?" He turns back to her. "Is everything okay?" His smile is perfect, practiced. "Everything's perfect, just like you." He kisses her forehead and walks out the door. Sarah stands there for a long moment, staring at the closed door, a strange emptiness filling her chest. She returns to the bedroom and begins making the bed, trying to shake off the uneasy feeling. As she fluffs the pillows, something catches her eye on the nightstand. Marcus's credit card. The black Amex he never goes anywhere without. Sarah picks up the card, turning it over in her hands. He must have forgotten it in his rush. She glances at the clock. His flight doesn't leave for 2 hours. She could surprise him at the airport. 30 minutes later, Sarah pulls into the departure area at JFK Airport. She spots Marcus's driver loading the suitcase from the trunk. Perfect timing. She parks and hurries toward the terminal, the credit card clutched in her hand. The departure board shows several London flights. She heads toward the British Airways gate. The terminal buzzes with travelers, but Sarah scans the crowd for Marcus's familiar broad shoulders and dark hair. She finds him at gate B42, standing in the business class line. Sarah starts toward him, a smile spreading across her face. She loves surprising him. But then she notices the departure board above the gate. Prague. Flight 447 to Prague. Her steps slow. Prague? He said London. She must be confused. She checks the board again. Prague, Czech Republic. Departure 11:45 a.m. Sarah's stomach drops. She watches Marcus hand his boarding pass to the gate agent. The woman smiles and scans his ticket. "Excuse me." Sarah approaches the counter, her heart hammering. "That man who just boarded, could you tell me if this is the right gate for the London flight?" The gate agent looks confused. "Ma'am, this is flight 447 to Prague. The London flights depart from Terminal 4. "Prague?" Sarah's voice comes out as a whisper. "Yes, ma'am. Is there a problem?" Sarah watches through the gate window as Marcus disappears down the jet bridge. The man who just boarded. Tall, dark hair, black suitcase. What name was on his ticket? The gate agent hesitates. "I'm sorry, I can't give out passenger information." "Please, he's my fiancé. He forgot his credit card. Sarah holds up the Amex, her hands starting to shake. The woman glances around, then leans closer. "Let me see the card." Sarah hands it over. The gate agent looks at the name, then at her computer screen. Her eyebrows furrow. "Ma'am, this card belongs to Marcus Reynolds, but the passenger who just boarded was traveling under the name Daniel Kozlov." The world tilts around Sarah. The credit card slips from her numb fingers and clatters to the floor. "Ma'am, are you all right? Daniel Kozlov. Not Marcus Reynolds. Not the man she's been sleeping next to for 2 years. Not the man she was planning to marry." Sarah bends down and picks up the credit card with trembling hands. I must have made a mistake." She walks away from the gate in a daze, her legs feeling like they might give out. Around her, the airport continues its normal rhythm. Families saying goodbye, business travelers checking phones, announcements echoing through the terminal. But Sarah's world has just shattered. She stumbles to a nearby bench and sits down hard. Her phone buzzes with a text message. "Boarding now. See you soon, my love. M." Sarah stares at the message. Marcus, or Daniel, or whoever he really is. 2 years. 2 years of her life. 2 years of believing in a man who doesn't even exist. She thinks about the engagement ring hidden in her jewelry box at home. The ring he doesn't know she found last week while looking for earrings. The ring she's been dreaming about, imagining the proposal. All of it based on a lie. Sarah's hands shake as she scrolls through her phone, looking at photos of them together. Marcus laughing at dinner. Marcus kissing her on the beach in the Hamptons. Marcus holding her close at last month's charity gala. Who is this man? What else has he lied about? Her phone buzzes again. Another text. "Landed safely in London. Weather's terrible here. Miss you already." London. He's still lying, even now. Sarah stands up slowly, her legs unsteady. She walks through the terminal like a ghost, past the shops and restaurants, past the happy couples saying goodbye. In the parking garage, she sits in her car for 10 minutes, staring at nothing. Her reflection in the rearview mirror looks pale, shocked, like a woman who's just discovered her entire life is a lie. Because that's exactly what she is. Sarah starts the engine and drives back toward the city, toward the penthouse that suddenly feels like a stranger's home. She has Marcus's spare key. She has access to his life. And she's going to find out who Daniel Kozlov really is. The hunt begins. Sarah's hands grip the steering wheel so tightly her knuckles turn white. The Manhattan skyline blurs past her windows as she drives toward the penthouse, toward answers. The doorman nods at her like always. "Good morning, Miss Chen. Mr. Reynolds leave for his trip?" "Yes," she manages to say. The name feels like poison in her mouth now. Mr. Reynolds. Is that even his real name? The elevator ride to the 52nd floor feels endless. Sarah stares at her reflection in the polished steel doors. Her dark hair is messy, her lipstick smudged. She looks like a woman coming apart. The penthouse is exactly as they left it. Marcus's coffee cup still sits on the kitchen counter. Her magazine is open on the couch where she was reading yesterday. Everything looks normal, but nothing feels real anymore. Sarah walks straight to Marcus's home office. She's been in here hundreds of times, but always with him. Now, standing alone among his mahogany desk and leather chairs, she feels like an intruder. She starts with the obvious places. The desk drawers slide open easily. Files, business cards, expensive pens, nothing unusual. She opens his laptop, but it's password protected. The bookshelf holds business journals and investment reports. Sarah pulls out random books, shaking them for hidden papers. Nothing falls out. "Think, Sarah," she whispers to herself. "Where would someone hide fake documents?" She remembers spy movies, places people hide things. Behind picture frames, under desk drawers, inside book covers. Sarah runs her hands under the desk. Her fingers find a small key, taped to the bottom of the center drawer. Her heart pounds as she looks around the office. What does this key open? She tries the filing cabinets. The key doesn't fit. She tries a small cabinet in the corner. Nothing. Then she sees it. An antique wooden box on the shelf behind his desk. It's always been there, but she never paid attention to it. The key slides in perfectly. Inside the box, Sarah finds what will destroy her world completely. 3 passports, all with Marcus's face, all with different names. Marcus Reynolds, Daniel Kozlov, Alexei Petrov. Her hands shake as she flips through them. The photos are definitely him, but the details are all different. Different birthplaces, different dates. Oh God, she breathes. Sarah sinks into Marcus's leather chair, the passports scattered on the desk in front of her. Who is this man? How many identities does he have? She opens the Daniel Kozlov passport, issued in Prague. That's where he flew today. The Alexei Petrov passport is Russian. The stamps show travel to Moscow, St. Petersburg, places Marcus never mentioned visiting. Sarah's phone buzzes. Another text from Marcus. Meeting's running late. Might not be able to call tonight. Love you. She wants to throw the phone across the room. Instead, she keeps searching. She dumps out every drawer, checks every hiding spot she can think of. Behind paintings, inside vases, under the Persian rug. In the bottom drawer of the filing cabinet, hidden behind old tax records, she finds bank statements. Not for Marcus Reynolds, for Daniel Kozlov. Millions of dollars. Transfers to accounts in Switzerland, the Cayman Islands, places she's never heard of. Sarah spreads everything across the office floor. Passports, bank statements, business cards with different names. The evidence of a life she never knew existed. She picks up a photo from his desk. The 2 of them at last Christmas, laughing in front of the tree. She's wearing the diamond necklace he gave her. He's holding her close, looking at her like she's the only person in the world. Was any of it real? Did he ever love her, or was she just part of whatever game he's playing? The tears come suddenly, hard and ugly. Sarah curls up on the marble floor, surrounded by the pieces of her broken life. That's how Emma finds her 20 minutes later. Sarah? The doorman let me up. He said you looked upset. Emma stops in the doorway of the office, taking in the scene. What the hell happened here? Emma rushes over, kneeling beside her best friend. Honey, what's wrong? Where's Marcus? He doesn't exist, Sarah chokes out. Marcus doesn't exist. What are you talking about? Sarah hands Emma the passports. Emma's green eyes widen as she flips through them. Jesus Christ! Sarah, who is this man? I don't know. Sarah wipes her nose with the back of her hand. I thought I knew everything about him. I thought we were going to get married. Emma sits down on the floor beside her, still holding the passports. You need to call the police. And tell them what? That my boyfriend has fake passports? That's not illegal if he's a spy or something. A spy? Emma's voice goes up an octave. I don't know what he is. Sarah's voice breaks. He told me he was flying to London, but I followed him to the airport and he flew to Prague under the name Daniel Kozlov. Emma looks at the bank statements scattered around them. Sarah, this is serious money. These accounts, this isn't just fake IDs. This is international level stuff. I know. You can't confront him about this, not alone. This is dangerous. Sarah looks up at her best friend. Emma's usually perfect blonde hair is messy from rushing over. Her designer suit is wrinkled, but her expression is fierce, protective. What am I supposed to do? Pretend I don't know? We hire a private investigator, someone who knows how to handle this kind of thing. A private investigator? My divorce lawyer recommended one last year when I thought James was cheating. This guy used to be FBI.
If anyone can figure out who Marcus really is, it's him. Sarah looks around the office. Evidence of lies everywhere. 2 years of her life built on fiction. "What if I don't want to know?" she whispers. Emma takes her hand. "Honey, you already know. You can't unknow it. The only choice now is what you do with the truth." They sit in silence for a moment, surrounded by the wreckage of Sarah's perfect life. "His name is Jake Morrison," Emma says finally, "the investigator. I'll call him." Sarah nods, still staring at the photo of her and Marcus. In the picture, they look so happy, so normal, like any other couple in love. But looking at it now, Sarah sees something different. Marcus's smile is perfect, but his eyes look careful, guarded, like he's performing instead of living. How did she miss it? How did she fall in love with a ghost? Her phone buzzes again. Marcus, checking in from his fake business trip. "Miss you already, my love." Sarah turns off the phone and hands it to Emma. She can't look at his lies anymore, not until she knows who's really sending them.
Secrets in the shadow. 3 days later, Sarah sits in a small coffee shop in Brooklyn, her leg bouncing under the table. Emma reaches across and squeezes her hand. "He'll be here any minute," Emma says. "Jake Morrison doesn't look like much, but he's the best." Sarah barely slept since finding the passports. Every time she closes her eyes, she sees Marcus's face morphing between his different identities. She's been staying at Emma's apartment, afraid to go back to the penthouse. A man in his 50s approaches their table. He's shorter than Sarah expected, with graying hair and kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. He looks more like a college professor than an ex-FBI agent. "Miss Chen, I'm Jake Morrison." His handshake is firm, confident. "Emma told me you need help with an identity issue." Sarah nods, not trusting her voice. Jake sits down and opens a leather portfolio. "Before we start, you should know that sometimes the truth is worse than not knowing. Are you sure you want to go down this road?" "I'm sure," Sarah says, though her stomach churns. "Tell me about Marcus Reynolds." Sarah describes their relationship, their life together, how perfect everything seemed. Jake takes notes, asking occasional questions about Marcus's habits, his friends, his business. "And you found these in his office?" Jake examines photos of the passports Sarah took with her phone. "There might be more. I only searched for an hour before Emma stopped me." Jake studies the images carefully. Marcus Reynolds, Daniel Kozlov, Alexei Petrov. That's quite a collection. He looks up at Sarah. "How much do you know about his business?" "He owns several companies, import-export mostly. He travels constantly for work." Import-export. Jake makes a note. Classic cover. Easy to explain travel, large cash transactions, international contacts. Cover for what? That's what we're going to find out. Jake closes his portfolio. "I'll need a few days to run these names through my databases. Don't contact him. Don't go back to the penthouse alone. Can you do that?" Sarah nods. "Good. I'll call you when I have something." 4 days later, Jake calls. His voice is serious, careful. "We need to meet, tonight, same place." Sarah's hands shake as she hangs up. Emma drives her to Brooklyn, neither of them speaking during the 20-minute ride. Jake is already waiting when they arrive. His usual kind expression is replaced by something harder, more worried. "Sit down," he says. Sarah's heart pounds. "What did you find?" Jake opens a thick file folder. Marcus Reynolds is a cover identity. Very well constructed, but fake. Daniel Kozlov is also fake, used primarily for European travel. He pauses. But Alexei Petrov, that's his real name. Real name? Alexei Dmitry Petrov, born in St. Petersburg 38 years ago. Former Russian intelligence, specifically SVR, their foreign intelligence service. The coffee shop seems to spin around Sarah. Russian intelligence? He disappeared from Russian records 12 years ago, officially dead, killed in a car bombing in Chechnya. Emma grabs Sarah's arm. Dead? Obviously not dead, but someone went to a lot of trouble to make it look that way. The question is, why? Jake slides photos across the table. Black and white surveillance shots of Marcus meeting with men in expensive suits, shaking hands in parking garages, talking in what looks like abandoned warehouses. I've been watching him for the past 3 days. These men, Jake points to the photos, they're not businessmen. Sarah studies the images. Marcus looks different in them. Sharper, more dangerous. Nothing like the gentleman who brings her coffee in bed every morning. Who are they? Arms dealers, money launderers, people who move very illegal things across international borders. Jake's voice is grim, and your boyfriend is apparently their business partner. That's impossible. Marcus runs legitimate companies. Sarah, Jake says gently, those companies are fronts, shell corporations designed to move money and hide criminal activity. Jake opens another folder. He owns properties in 12 different countries, houses, apartments, warehouses, all purchased through different shell corporations, all tied back to his various identities. The photos show luxury apartments in Paris, a villa in Spain, what looks like a compound in Eastern Europe. Why would a Russian spy own all this? That's the question, isn't it? Jake leans back in his chair. Either he's still working for the Russians, or he's gone rogue and built his own criminal empire. Sarah feels sick. The charity gala where we met, was that? The Children's Hospital Foundation gala 2 years ago? Jake nods. I looked into it. Very interesting guest list. Several prominent businessmen who later had federal investigations opened against them. A few who died in convenient accidents. You think he targeted me? I think Alexei Petrov doesn't do anything by accident. He researched that gala, knew who would be there, chose his approach carefully. Jake's expression softens. I'm sorry, Sarah, but your relationship was planned from the beginning. The words hit her like physical blows. Every memory feels tainted now. Their first dance, their first kiss, the way he seemed to understand her so perfectly. Why me? She whispers. Your father's company. Chen Industries has contracts with half the major shipping companies on the East Coast. Access to cargo manifests, shipping schedules, customs documents. Jake slides another document across the table. Her father's company logo at the top, shipping routes highlighted in yellow. He was using me to spy on my father? It's possible. Or maybe he was planning to use that access later. Long-term relationships provide better cover than quick affairs. Emma speaks for the first time. Sarah, you need to get as far away from this man as possible. I can't just disappear. He'll notice if I don't answer his calls. He's in Prague until tomorrow, Jake says. According to his travel pattern, he'll be back in New York by evening. That gives us less than 24 hours to figure out our next move. Sarah's phone buzzes. A text message. She glances at it automatically, then freezes. Missing you already, my love. The same message he always sends. Sweet, romantic, normal. But now Sarah sees it differently. It's not love, it's control. A way to keep track of her, make sure she's still playing her part in his elaborate game. He's checking on me, she says. Jake looks at the message. Standard surveillance technique. Regular contact to ensure the target isn't suspicious. Target? That's what she is to Marcus. Not a girlfriend, not a partner, a target. Sarah thinks about all the times Marcus encouraged her to talk about her father's business.
How interested he was in her work at the import consulting firm. How he always seemed to know exactly what to say to make her feel special, loved. It was all calculated. Every kiss, every "I love you," every moment of what she thought was genuine intimacy. "What do I do when he gets back?" she asks. Jake closes his files. "That depends on how good an actress you are, and how much danger you're willing to risk." Sarah looks at the surveillance photos one more time. Marcus shaking hands with criminals, exchanging briefcases, looking nothing like the man who holds her while she sleeps. Somewhere in Prague, Alexei Petrov is probably planning his next move. And somewhere in New York, Sarah Chen has to decide if she's brave enough to play the game against a professional spy. Her phone buzzes again. Another message from the man she thought she loved. "Can't wait to hold you again tomorrow night." Sarah's hands don't shake this time. For the first time in days, her mind feels clear. "I want to find out what he's really doing," she tells Jake. "I want to know everything."
The other women. Jake stares at Sarah for a long moment. "Are you sure? Once you know everything, there's no going back to ignorance." "I'm sure." "All right." Jake opens a different folder, this one thicker than the others. "There's more, Sarah. Much more." Emma shifts uncomfortably in her chair. "Maybe we should think about this." "No." Sarah's voice is steady now. "I need to know who I've been living with." Jake slides a photograph across the table. "Her name is Katerina Petrova. She lives in Moscow." Sarah picks up the photo and her heart stops. The woman is stunning in a way that makes Sarah feel ordinary by comparison. Platinum blonde hair, ice blue eyes, sharp cheekbones that belong on magazine covers. She's wearing an expensive coat, walking out of what looks like an upscale shopping district. Who is she? Alexei Petrov's wife. The words hit Sarah like a physical blow. Wife? Married 8 years ago in Moscow, before he supposedly died. Jake's voice is gentle but relentless. She still lives there, same apartment, same life. As far as anyone knows, she's a widow. Sarah can't look away from the photo. Katerina is everything Sarah isn't. Tall where Sarah is average height, blonde where Sarah is brunette, cold and elegant where Sarah is warm and approachable. But that's not all, Jake continues. He slides another photo across the table. Katerina holding the hand of a little girl with the same blonde hair and blue eyes. The child is maybe 7 years old, wearing a school uniform, laughing at something off camera. Their daughter, Anya, 7 years old. Sarah's hand starts shaking again. He has a daughter? DNA test would be needed to confirm, but the timing and physical resemblance suggest yes. Sarah stares at the little girl's face. She has Marcus's smile, the same way his eyes crinkle when he's genuinely happy. The expression Sarah thought was special, reserved just for her. How long has he been sending the money? She manages to ask. Jake opens a bank statement. Regular transfers. $50,000 every month to an account in Katerina's name. Never missed a payment in 8 years. $50,000. More than Sarah makes in 6 months. Money Marcus never mentioned, from accounts she never knew existed. They think he's dead, but he's been supporting them this whole time. It appears so. The money comes from various shell companies, so it can't be traced back to his American identity. Sarah does the math in her head. 8 years of payments, almost $5 million. Marcus has been living a double life, married to this beautiful Russian woman, father to this little girl, while building a relationship with Sarah. "I was never his girlfriend," she says quietly. "I was his American assignment." Emma, reaches for her hand, but Sarah pulls away. "Look at her, Emma. Look at this woman, and then look at me. Which one looks like someone a Russian spy would actually marry for love?" Emma examines the photo of Katerina. There's no denying the woman's striking beauty, but there's something else in her face. A hardness around the eyes, a practiced smile that doesn't reach them. "Beauty isn't everything," Emma says weakly. "No,
But it makes sense, doesn't it? He married the beautiful Russian spy in Moscow, then he came to America and found the ordinary girl with useful family connections. Sarah's voice is bitter now. I was cover, a convenient girlfriend to make him look normal while he ran his criminal operations. Jake clears his throat. There's one more thing. Sarah laughs, but there's no humor in it. More? What else could there possibly be? Jake hesitates. Recent surveillance shows increased activity, more meetings, larger money transfers, and yesterday, before he left for Prague, I followed him to a jewelry store. A jewelry store? Tiffany & Co. He spent 2 hours there, left with a small blue box. Sarah's stomach drops. An engagement ring? Most likely. The irony is crushing. Sarah found Marcus's engagement ring for her while discovering he's married to someone else. He was planning to propose to her while sending money to his real wife and daughter in Moscow. He was going to ask me to marry him while he's already married, she whispers. Bigamy is the least of his crimes, Jake says grimly. Sarah pushes the photos away. She can't look at Katerina's perfect face or the little girl's innocent smile anymore. What kind of person does this? What kind of person builds an entire fake life around someone? A professional, Jake answers. Someone trained to compartmentalize, to use people as assets instead of seeing them as human beings. Emma leans forward. Sarah, you need to pack your things and disappear, tonight, before he gets back. Run away? This isn't a game. This man is dangerous. He's already lied to you about everything. What happens when he realizes you know the truth? Sarah considers this. Marcus has never been violent with her, but then again, she's never been a threat to his operation before. Where would I go? Change my name, leave my family, abandon my life because some Russian spy decided to use me? It's better than being dead, Emma says bluntly. Is it? Sarah looks at the photos again. Look at this life he's built. 2 different women in 2 different countries, both believing they're special to him. How many others are there? How many other Sarah Chens has he left behind when his assignments ended? Jake watches her carefully. What are you thinking? I'm thinking he chose the wrong woman this time. He thought he picked some naive girl who would never question him, never look too deep. Sarah, no. Emma recognizes the look in her friend's eyes. Whatever you're thinking, don't. He's flying back tomorrow night. He'll come to the penthouse expecting everything to be normal. Expecting me to be there with dinner ready and questions about his trip to London. And Sarah meets Jake's eyes. And I'm going to be there this time. But I'm going to be ready for him this time. This is insane, Emma protests. You're talking about confronting a trained spy, someone who kills people for a living. Am I? Or am I talking about confronting a man who thought he could play games with my life? Sarah stands up, gathering the photos. Either way, I'm done running from my own life. Jake closes his files. If you're determined to do this, you'll need help, and you'll need to be very, very careful. Sarah nods. Tomorrow night, Marcus Reynolds will come home, but he won't be coming home to the same woman he left behind. Sarah Chen is done being anyone's cover story.
The dangerous return. Sarah spends the next day preparing like she's going into battle. Jake gives her a tiny recording device that clips inside her purse, invisible but powerful enough to capture everything. Emma begs her one last time to reconsider, but Sarah's mind is made up. If something goes wrong, Jake says, if he gets suspicious at all, you text me immediately. I'll have backup nearby. Sarah nods, but her hands are steady now. After 4 days of crying and confusion, she feels strangely calm. Maybe this is what drowning people feel like just before they stop fighting the water. That evening, she returns to the penthouse for the first time since finding the passports. Everything looks exactly the same, but it feels like a museum display now. The home of Marcus Reynolds, successful businessman. Not the real home of Alexei Petrov, Russian spy and criminal. Sarah showers and puts on the black dress Marcus bought her last month. She styles her hair the way he likes it, applies the perfume he always compliments. If she's going to perform, she'll give the performance of her life. At 8:30, she hears his key in the lock. "Sarah, I'm home." His voice sounds exactly the same, warm, loving, excited to see her. For a moment, Sarah's resolve wavers. This is still the voice that whispers sweet things in her ear, that tells her she's beautiful every morning. But then she remembers Katerina's photo, the little girl holding her hand, the $50,000 a month. "In here," she calls from the kitchen, forcing brightness into her voice. Marcus appears in the doorway carrying flowers and a gift bag. He looks tired from travel, but happy to be home. When he smiles at her, Sarah's heart breaks a little, despite everything. "God, I missed you," he says, pulling her into his arms. His kiss is passionate, desperate. Sarah forces herself to respond, to melt into him the way she always does. But now she notices things she missed before. How his hands check her body language, reading her reactions. How his eyes scan her face for signs of suspicion. He's always been watching her, analyzing her. She just thought it was love. "I missed you too," she lies. Marcus hands her the flowers and gift bag, a little something from London. Inside the bag is a beautiful silk scarf from Harrods. Sarah recognizes the store from their trip to London last year. Except Marcus wasn't in London, he was in Prague. "It's beautiful," she says, wrapping it around her neck. "How were your meetings?" "Productive. The Morrison deal is finally moving forward." He opens a bottle of wine while he talks, his movements relaxed and familiar. "Sorry I couldn't call much. The time difference was brutal. Prague is only 6 hours ahead of New York. London is 5. He's still lying about details that don't matter, lies that come as easily as breathing. "I made reservations at Chez Laurent," Marcus says, pouring 2 glasses of wine. "I thought we could celebrate." "Celebrate what?" His smile is mysterious. Just being together again. Chez Laurent is their special place, the restaurant where they had their first official date, where Marcus took her for her birthday last year. Sarah realizes this is probably where he planned to propose before everything went wrong. "I'd love that," she says. An hour later, they're sitting at their usual table by the window. The restaurant is elegant and dimly lit, filled with couples having intimate conversations. Sarah can barely taste her food, but she forces herself to eat, to smile, to play the part of the loving girlfriend. "You seem quiet tonight," Marcus says, reaching across the table to touch her hand. "Just tired. Work has been crazy." "Tell me about it. What's keeping you so busy?" Even now, he's fishing for information about her father's company. Sarah provides harmless details about shipping schedules and client meetings, the kind of information she's shared hundreds of times before. But now she hears how Marcus files away every detail, how his questions guide her towards specific topics. "Your father's company is doing so well," Marcus says. "Those new routes to Eastern Europe must be profitable." Eastern Europe, where Alexei Petrov has properties, where his criminal contacts operate. "Very profitable," Sarah agrees, her smile never wavering. "I'd love to meet him someday. Properly, I mean, not just at charity events." "Maybe soon," Sarah says, knowing that will never happen now. Marcus raises his wine glass. "To the future." "To the future," Sarah echoes, touching her glass to his. She wonders what future he's imagining. Sarah as his American wife, while Katerina remains in Moscow? 2 families, 2 lives, perfectly compartmentalized? "Sarah." Marcus's voice becomes softer, more intimate. "There's something I want to talk to you about." Sarah's stomach clenches. This is it, the proposal. "What is it?" "We've been together 2 years now, amazing years. You've changed my life in ways I never expected." At least that might be true. Sarah doubts many of Alexei Petrov's assignments involved actually falling for the target. "You've changed mine too," she says. Marcus reaches into his jacket pocket. Sarah sees the flash of a small blue box, Tiffany & Co., just like Jake said.
But before Marcus can pull it out completely, Sarah's phone buzzes with a text message. She glances at it instinctively. "Get out now. He's not who you think he is. Jake." Sarah's blood turns to ice. What did Jake discover? What new information came to light while she was sitting here playing house with a criminal? "Everything okay?" Marcus asks, his eyes sharp. "Just Emma. She's having drama with her ex-husband." Sarah puts the phone face down on the table, but her hands are shaking slightly. Marcus notices everything. "You sure? You look upset." "I'm fine." But Sarah's voice comes out too high, too forced. Marcus studies her face with those calculating eyes. "Maybe we should get the check. You seem tired." "No, I'm okay, really." Sarah tries to recover, but she can feel herself falling apart. Jake's warning has shattered her composure. What were you going to say about the future? But Marcus is no longer looking romantic. He's looking suspicious. "Later," he says, signaling for the waiter. "Let's go home." The ride back to the penthouse is tense. Marcus keeps glancing at her, and Sarah can feel him analyzing every breath, every expression. She tries to act normal, but normal feels impossible now. In the elevator, Marcus stands behind her. Sarah can see his reflection in the steel doors, watching her with the intensity of a predator studying prey. "Are you sure you're all right?" he asks as they enter the penthouse. "Just a headache. Too much wine." "I'll get you some aspirin." While Marcus is in the bathroom, Sarah's phone buzzes again. Another text from Jake. More urgent this time. "FBI raided his Prague contacts tonight. If he knows, you're in danger. Get out." Sarah's hands shake as she deletes the message. Marcus is coming back, carrying aspirin and a glass of water. He's still the same man she's loved for 2 years, but now she sees the predator underneath. "Here," he says, handing her the pills. "Thank you." Marcus sits beside her on the couch, close enough that their knees touch. "Sarah, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest with me." "Of course." "Have you been in my office lately?" The question hits like a physical blow. He knows. Somehow he knows. "Your office? Why would I be in your office?" "Just answer the question." Sarah forces herself to meet his eyes. "No, why?" Marcus doesn't answer immediately. Instead, he reaches for her purse, which is sitting on the coffee table. "What are you doing?" Sarah asks, but her voice betrays her panic. Marcus opens the purse and begins going through it systematically. Wallet, keys, makeup. His fingers are methodical, professional. And then he finds it. The tiny recording device Jake gave her, clipped to the inside seam. Marcus holds it up, his expression completely calm. "What's this, Sarah?" The game is over. Sarah stares at the device in his hand, her mind racing through possible explanations, possible escapes. But Marcus's eyes have gone completely cold. This is not her loving boyfriend anymore. This is Alexei Petrov, and Sarah Chen has just been caught spying on a very dangerous man. "I can explain," she whispers. "I'm sure you can," Marcus says quietly. "The question is whether I'm going to let you."
Truth and consequences. Marcus sets the recording device on the coffee table between them, his movements slow and deliberate. Sarah's heart pounds so hard she's sure he can hear it. "How long have you known?" His voice is quiet, almost conversational. Sarah's mouth is dry. "Known what?" "Don't." Marcus's eyes flash with something dangerous. We're past the point of games now. Sarah looks toward the door, calculating distances. But Marcus is sitting between her and the exit, and she knows he's faster, stronger, trained for situations exactly like this. "The passports," she whispers. "Which passports?" "Daniel Kozlov, Alexei Petrov." The names feel like confessions. Marcus nods slowly. "What else?" "The bank accounts, the properties, the—" Sarah's voice breaks. "The woman in Moscow." Something shifts in Marcus's expression. The cold calculation softens slightly, replaced by what might be sadness. Katerina. Your wife. Yes. The simple admission hits harder than any lie. Sarah feels tears building behind her eyes. And the little girl, your daughter. Marcus is quiet for a long moment. When he speaks, his voice is softer. Anya. She's 7 now. You send them money? Every month. Sarah wraps her arms around herself, trying to hold the pieces together. How many others are there? How many other women like me? None. Don't lie to me anymore, please. I'm not lying. Marcus leans forward, his hands open, non-threatening. Sarah, there are no other women like you. Because I'm the only one stupid enough to fall for it? Because you're the only one I fell for. Sarah stares at him. What? Marcus runs his hairs through his hair, a gesture she's seen 1,000 times, but that looks different now, vulnerable instead of casual. My name is Michael. Michael Alexei Petrov. Everything else? It's complicated. Your name is Michael? My real name. The name my foster parents gave me when I was 8 years old. Foster parents. Sarah remembers him mentioning growing up in care, but she thought it was another lie. I don't understand. Marcus stands up and walks to the window, looking out at the city lights. He looks tired, older than his 38 years. When I was 7, American social workers came to the orphanage. They were looking for children to adopt, but it wasn't a normal adoption agency. Marcus turns back to her. It was a CIA recruitment program. CIA? Cold War orphans, they called us. Russian children adopted by American families, raised as Americans, but with native language skills and cultural knowledge that would be useful later. Sarah's mind struggles to process this. You're American? I've been American longer than I was Russian. Michael Petrov, raised in Portland, Oregon by 2 social workers who volunteered for the program. I went to American schools, played American sports, dated American girls. But the passports. When I turned 18, the agency offered me a choice: normal life or serve my adopted country. I chose to serve. Marcus sits back down, but keeps distance between them. I spent 2 years in training, then they sent me back to Russia, not as Alexei Petrov, the orphan who disappeared, but as Alexei Petrov, the intelligence officer. I was supposed to infiltrate the SVR, gather information, report back. You were a double agent? Deep cover. So deep that even the Russians thought I was one of theirs. I spent 8 years building my legend, proving my loyalty. Sarah thinks about the surveillance photos Jake showed her, the criminals you meet with. All part of the operation. I had to become someone the real criminals would trust, someone who could get close to their operations. And Katerina? Marcus's expression grows pained. Marriage was part of my cover. The SVR arranged it. Katerina she's a good person, Sarah. She thinks she married a Russian patriot who died serving his country. But you didn't die. Officially, I did. Car bomb in Chechnya, just like Jake's research showed. But it was staged. The CIA extracted me and gave me a new identity. Marcus Reynolds. Michael Reynolds, actually. They used my real first name, made the transition easier. Sarah's head is spinning. So you've been working for the FBI this whole time? For 12 years, building criminal networks, identifying threats, feeding information back to my handlers. The business trips to London. Actually Prague, meeting with arms dealers who think I'm a former Russian agent looking to make money. Every deal I make, every contact I develop, it all goes straight to the bureau. Sarah looks around the penthouse with new eyes. This whole life is cover, yes. But Sarah, what you were supposed to be, that wasn't cover. The charity gala, meeting you, it was an accident. An accident. I was there watching a target. Senator Morrison was suspected of taking money from foreign arms dealers. I was supposed to observe, report back. Marcus's eyes meet hers. But then you bumped into me at the bar. Sarah remembers that night. She'd been nervous, attending the gala alone, and accidentally knocked over his drink when she turned around. You seemed so
Genuine, so different from everyone else there. When you started apologizing for the spilled drink, I couldn't walk away. You said you were there for business. I was, but then I forgot about business completely. Marcus reaches for her hand, but Sarah pulls back. I reported the contact to my handler the next day. Told him I'd met someone at the gala, that it might compromise my cover if I pursued it. What did he say? He said a girlfriend would actually strengthen my cover, make me look more normal, less suspicious. Marcus's voice grows quiet. So, I was authorized to continue the relationship. Authorized. The word tastes bitter. At first, yes, but Sarah, what happened between us? That was never authorized. That was never part of any operation. Sarah stands up, pacing to the window. The city looks the same as always, but everything feels different now. How am I supposed to believe anything you tell me? You've lied about literally everything. Not everything. Your name, your job, your past, your trips, your... I never lied about loving you. The words hang in the air between them. Sarah turns back to him, searching his face for truth she's not sure she'd recognize anymore. The engagement ring, she says. Marcus reaches into his jacket and pulls out the blue Tiffany box. I bought this because I want to marry you, not because some handler told me to, because I can't imagine my life without you. But you're already married. To a woman who thinks I'm dead, a woman I barely knew, who was assigned to me by foreign intelligence. Marcus opens the box, revealing a simple but elegant diamond ring. This is for the woman I chose, the woman I love. Sarah stares at the ring. It's beautiful, exactly what she would have picked for herself, but it feels like poison now. You want me to marry you while your wife thinks you're dead? While you send money to support your daughter? After this operation ends, I can tell you everything. We can figure out the rest together. The rest? Marcus, you have a child, a little girl who thinks her father is dead. Pain flashes across Marcus's face. I know. I think about her every day. But you chose this life anyway? I chose to serve my country. I chose to stop real criminals from hurting innocent people. And yes, I chose you. Sarah looks at him, really looks at him. Underneath the lies and the false identities, she can see glimpses of someone genuine, someone in pain, someone who's made impossible choices. But she can also see a man who's been lying to her for 2 years, who let her fall in love with a ghost. I need time to think, she says. Sarah, my cover is blown. The people I've been investigating, if they find out I'm FBI, they'll come after anyone connected to me. That includes you. Because of the recording device? Because someone's been digging into my background. Someone hired a private investigator to research me. Jake. Sarah realizes Marcus probably figured out about Jake's investigation. I can protect you, Marcus continues, but only if you trust me. Trust you? Sarah's voice rises. I don't even know who you are. I'm the man who brings you coffee every morning, who holds you when you have nightmares, who listens to you talk about your day and actually cares about every detail. Marcus stands up, moving toward her. I'm the man who loves you enough to risk everything to keep you safe. Sarah backs toward the door. You're also the man who's been lying to me about everything for 2 years. The man who has a wife and daughter he's abandoned. The man who's been using me to get information about my father's company. I never used information about your father's business. Check the files, Sarah. I've never included anything about Chen Industries in any of my reports. How am I supposed to check anything? How am I supposed to believe anything? Because you know me. Whatever else is fake, you know who I really am. Sarah reaches the door, her hand on the handle. No, Marcus, that's the problem. I don't know you at all. Sarah, wait. Don't follow me. You're not safe out there alone. I'm not safe anywhere. Sarah opens the door. 2 years, Marcus. 2 years of my life. They were the most real 2 years of my life. Sarah looks back at him one last time. He's standing in the middle of the living room, still holding the engagement ring, looking lost and desperate. For a moment,
The chase. Sarah spends the night in a 24-hour diner in Queens, nursing coffee and trying to figure out what to do next. The fluorescent lights buzz overhead, and the place smells like grease and desperation. It feels appropriate. By dawn, she's made a decision. She's going to try to go back to her normal life, whatever that means now. Her apartment in Brooklyn feels foreign when she finally returns. Everything looks the same. Her books, her photos, her comfortable furniture, but it all feels like it belongs to someone else, someone naive enough to believe in love stories. Sarah showers and changes clothes, then calls in sick to work. She's not ready to face questions about her weekend, about Marcus, about the engagement everyone at the office has been expecting. For 3 days, she tries to build a routine. Morning runs, grocery shopping, calling her parents. She tells everyone that Marcus is traveling for business, that everything is fine. The lies come easier than she expected. But on the 4th day, Sarah notices the man in the gray jacket. He's sitting in a coffee shop across from her building when she leaves for her morning run. But when she returns an hour later, he's still there, reading the same newspaper. That afternoon, she sees him again outside the grocery store. Same gray jacket, same careful way of not looking directly at her. By evening, Sarah is sure she's being followed. She calls Jake Morrison from a payphone 3 blocks from her apartment. "Someone's watching me," she says without preamble. "Where are you?" "Near my apartment. Jake, there's a man in a gray jacket. He's been following me all day." "Get somewhere public, a restaurant, a bar, somewhere with lots of people. I'm sending backup." Sarah ends up in a crowded sports bar, sitting where she can see both entrances. The man in the gray jacket doesn't follow her inside, but she can see him through the window, talking on his phone. 20 minutes later, Jake arrives with 2 other men who look like ex-military. They scan the room professionally before sitting down. "Did you confront Marcus?" Jake asks. "Sort of. He told me everything, about being FBI, about working undercover." Jake's expression darkens. "FBI? You don't believe him?" "I ran his operation through every database I have access to. If Marcus Reynolds is FBI, it's so deep black that even federal law enforcement doesn't know about it." Sarah's stomach drops. "Meaning?" "Meaning, either he's telling the truth about being the deepest of deep cover agents, or he's lying about working for the good guys." "What about the man following me?" Jake glances toward the window. "Gone now. But if they found you once, they'll find you again." "They?" "Criminal organizations don't usually work alone. If Marcus's cover is blown, everyone connected to him becomes a target." Sarah thinks about the surveillance photos Jake showed her. Marcus meeting with dangerous-looking men in dark alleys. "Why would they want me?" "Because they think you know something, or because they want to use you as leverage against Marcus." Sarah finishes her drink, but it tastes like sawdust. What am I supposed to do? Hide forever? "For now, yes. We've got a safe house in New Jersey. You can stay there until—" "No." Sarah stands up. "I'm not running from my own life anymore." "Sarah, this isn't a game. These people kill for a living." "So does Marcus, apparently. So did Alexei. So did whoever Michael really is." Sarah puts money on the table. "I'm going home." "That's exactly what they expect you to do." "Good. Maybe it's time to stop being predictable." Sarah leaves the bar against Jake's protests. She knows it's stupid, but she's tired of being afraid, tired of running from shadows and lies. Her apartment building looks normal when she returns. The same elderly doorman, the same tired lobby with its faded carpet. Sarah takes the elevator to the 4th floor, keys ready. She's unlocking her door when she hears footsteps behind her. Sarah. She spins around. Marcus stands at the end of the hallway, still wearing the same clothes from 3 days ago. He looks like he hasn't slept. "How did you get in here?" "The same way I've been getting in and out of buildings for 12 years. Marcus walks toward her slowly, hands visible. "We need to talk." "I thought I made myself clear." "Sarah, you're in danger, real danger." "From who? Your criminal friends or your FBI handlers?" "From people who think you know too much about my operation, people who want to use you to get to me." Sarah finally gets her door open. Then they're going to be disappointed, because I don't know anything real about you. Listen to me. Marcus grabs her arm as she tries to go inside. My handler called an emergency meeting yesterday. Someone leaked information about my identity. The arms dealers I've been investigating, they know I'm not who I said I was. Let go of me. They think you're my weakness. They think if they hurt you, I'll give them what they want. Sarah jerks her arm free. What do they want? The location of $20 million in seized assets, and the identities of other undercover agents in their organization. Do you have that information? Some of it. Sarah stares at him. And would you give it to them? To save me? Marcus doesn't answer immediately, and that tells her everything. You would, she breathes. You'd betray your own people to save me. Yes. The simple admission hits harder than any declaration of love. Sarah can see the truth in his eyes. He would burn down everything he's worked for if it meant keeping her safe. Sarah, please, come with me now. I have a place where they can't find us. No. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. You want me to trust you, to go somewhere isolated with you, to depend on you completely. Sarah shakes her head. I'm done being controlled by you. This isn't about control. This is about keeping you alive. Then call the police, call the FBI, call whoever is supposed to handle this. The FBI thinks I'm dead. My handler is the only person who knows I'm alive, and he's gone dark. I think he might be compromised. Sarah steps into her apartment. That's not my problem anymore. Sarah. She slams the door in his face and locks it. Outside, she can hear Marcus calling her name, but she ignores him. Sarah leans against the door, heart pounding. She knows he's right about the danger, but she can't bring herself to trust him. Not after everything. After 10 minutes, the hallway goes quiet. Sarah assumes Marcus has left. She's wrong. The crash comes at 9 o'clock that evening. Sarah is making dinner when she hears the sound of breaking glass and screaming from the lobby. She goes to her window and looks down. A black SUV has crashed through the front entrance of her building. Men in dark clothing are pouring out of it, moving with military precision toward the elevators. Sarah's blood turns to ice. She grabs her phone to call 911, but the line is dead. Heavy footsteps echo in the stairwell. Multiple sets, moving fast, coming up. Sarah runs to her door and checks the locks, but she knows they won't hold against professional killers. She looks around her apartment desperately. Fire escape. There's a fire escape outside her bedroom window. She's climbing out onto the metal platform when she hears her door explode inward. Clear the living room. Check the bedroom. She's not here. Sarah climbs down the fire escape as quietly as possible, but the old metal groans under her weight. Above her, she hears someone shout, "Fire escape! She's on the fire escape!" Sarah jumps the last 10 feet to the alley below, landing hard on the pavement. Pain shoots through her ankle, but she forces herself to run. Behind her, she hears boots on metal. They're following her down. Sarah limps toward the street, but another black SUV is waiting there, blocking her escape. More men get out, automatic weapons visible under their coats. She's trapped. That's when Marcus appears from behind a dumpster, grabbing her hand. This way, now. Marcus, run. They sprint toward the back of the alley as gunshots echo behind them. Sarah hears bullets hitting brick walls, shattering windows. The men are shooting to kill. Marcus pulls her through a gap between buildings, then down another alley. He moves like he knows every inch of the neighborhood, every possible escape route. My car. Marcus shouts over the sound of pursuit. A dark sedan is parked at the end of the block. Marcus practically throws Sarah into the passenger seat before jumping behind the wheel. The engine roars to life just as their pursuers round the corner. Marcus floors the accelerator, tires squealing as they race through the narrow streets of Brooklyn. Sarah looks back and sees the black SUVs following them, weaving through traffic with deadly determination. "Who are they?" she gasps. "Viktor Kozlov's people, arms dealers from Prague, the ones who think I stole from them." "Did you?" Marcus takes a sharp turn, nearly hitting a parked car. "I helped the FBI seize their assets. Same thing from their perspective."
Sarah grips the door handle as Marcus drives like a man running for his life. Which, she realizes, he is. They both are. Where are we going? Somewhere safe. That's what you said before. Marcus meets her eyes in the rearview mirror. Sarah, I know you don't trust me, but right now, I'm the only thing standing between you and people who will torture you for information I would never give them anyway. Sarah looks back again. The SUVs are still following, but they're falling behind. Marcus knows how to drive. Why should I believe you? Because 3 minutes ago, I could have let them kill you and walked away clean. My cover would have been intact, my operation could have continued. But you didn't. No, I didn't. Sarah realizes he's right. Marcus just sacrificed everything, his mission, his cover, probably his career, to save her.
Running together. Marcus drives for 40 minutes, taking random turns and doubling back on highways until Sarah is completely lost. The black SUVs disappeared 20 minutes ago, but Marcus keeps checking his mirrors, his jaw tight with concentration. "Are you hurt?" he asks, glancing at her ankle. "It's just twisted. I'll be fine." "I'm sorry, Sarah. I never wanted you involved in this." Sarah doesn't answer. She's not ready to forgive him, but she can't deny that he just saved her life. They finally stop at a small cabin surrounded by dense woods. It looks abandoned, with peeling paint and overgrown bushes, but Marcus has keys. "FBI safe house," he explains, helping her out of the car. "Off the books. Even my handler doesn't know about this one." Inside, the cabin is surprisingly well equipped. Clean furniture, a stocked kitchen, working electricity, everything someone would need to disappear for a while. "How many of these places do you have?" Sarah asks, settling onto the couch and examining her ankle. "3. This is the most remote." Marcus locks the door and draws the curtains. "We should be safe here for a few days." "And then what?" "I don't know." The honesty is jarring. For 2 years, Marcus always had a plan, always knew what came next. Seeing him uncertain makes everything feel more real, more dangerous. Marcus disappears into the kitchen and returns with ice wrapped in a towel. He kneels beside the couch, gently lifting her foot. "May I?" Sarah nods. His touch is careful, professional, but she still feels the familiar spark when his fingers brush her skin. "It's not broken," he says, applying the ice, "just swollen. You'll need to stay off it for a day or 2. Lucky me, trapped in a cabin with a spy. Marcus looks up at her. "I know you don't believe me, but everything I told you 3 nights ago was the truth." "Everything?" "The important parts. My real name, my background, why I became an agent." Marcus sits on the floor beside the couch. "I can prove some of it." He pulls out his wallet and hands her a driver's license. Not the Marcus Reynolds one she's seen before. This one says Michael A. Petrov with an address in Portland, Oregon. "I've carried this since I was 18. Real license, real address. That's the house where I grew up." Sarah studies the license. The photo is younger Marcus, maybe 25, with shorter hair and a more innocent expression. "Your foster parents?" "David and Linda Petrov. They took in 4 kids through the CIA program. All of us from different countries, all of us chosen for specific reasons." Sarah hands back the license. "What happened to the other kids?" "One became a translator for the State Department. One joined the military. One..." Marcus's expression darkens. "One died on his first assignment." "And you became a spy?" "I became someone who could protect people from the kind of monsters I grew up around in Russia." Marcus stands up and walks to the window, checking the forest outside. In the lamplight, Sarah can see tension in his shoulders, exhaustion in the way he moves. "You're hurt," she realizes. "What?" "Your left shoulder. You're favoring it." Marcus touches his shoulder unconsciously. "It's nothing." "When did it happen?" "Tonight, when we were running. I think I pulled something." Sarah studies his face. "That's not from tonight." Marcus is quiet for a long moment. Then he slowly unbuttons his shirt, wincing as he pulls it off his left shoulder. Sarah gasps.
A puckered scar runs from his shoulder blade to his collarbone, clearly from a knife wound. But that's not the only one. His chest and back are covered with scars, bullet wounds, knife cuts, what looks like a burn mark on his ribs. 12 years of undercover work, Marcus says quietly. Sometimes your cover gets blown. Sometimes you have to prove your loyalty in blood. Sarah can't stop staring. The man she's been sleeping next to for 2 years has been carrying this much pain, this much damage, and she never knew. Does it hurt? Not anymore. Most of them are old. The fresh one? Marcus touches a healing cut on his side. Prague, 3 weeks ago. The arms dealers were testing my loyalty. Wanted to see if I would kill a suspected informant. Did you? The informant was already dead, but they didn't know that. Marcus puts his shirt back on, slowly, carefully. Sarah imagines Marcus in some warehouse in Prague, letting criminals hurt him to maintain his cover, all while texting her sweet messages about missing her. Why do you do this? She asks. Do what? This job, this life, all the lying, all the pain. Marcus sits back down on the floor, leaning against the couch. Do you remember what you told me on our 3rd date about your biggest fear? Sarah thinks back. Feeling helpless? You said you couldn't stand the idea of watching bad things happen and not being able to stop them. That's not the same thing, isn't it? Marcus looks at her. I became an agent because I was 8 years old, watching other kids in the orphanage get hurt by older boys, by staff members, by people who were supposed to protect us, and I couldn't do anything to stop it. Sarah sees something raw in his expression, something that has nothing to do with covers or operations. This job, it gives me the power to stop people who hurt others, to catch criminals before they can destroy more lives. Even if it destroys your own life? I didn't have much of a life to destroy, not until I met you. The words hang between them. Sarah wants to stay angry, wants to keep her walls up, but seeing Marcus like this, vulnerable, honest, covered in scars from protecting people, makes it harder. Michael, she says, using his real name for the first time. Yeah. The woman in Moscow, Katerina, do you love her? Marcus meets her eyes. I care about her. She's a good person who got caught up in something she didn't choose, but no, I don't love her. And your daughter? Pain flashes across his face. I send money because she deserves a good life, but I've never met her, Sarah, never held her, never heard her voice. The only photos I have are surveillance shots. That must be awful. The worst part of this job isn't the danger or the lies. It's the people you hurt without meaning to. Anya will grow up thinking her father died when she was a baby. Katerina will probably remarry, build a new life. And you'll... How can I? What would I say? Sorry I let you think I was dead for 8 years, but I was busy being an American spy? Sarah understands now why Marcus carries so much pain in his eyes. He's not just lying to targets and criminals. He's lying to everyone, including people he cares about. That's why you didn't want to get involved with me, she says, because you'd have to lie to me too. I tried to stay away. After that first night at the gala, I told myself it was just cover, just part of the job. Marcus looks down at his hands. But then you started leaving little notes in my jacket pockets, funny ones, sweet ones. And I realized I was looking forward to finding them more than anything else in my life. Sarah remembers those notes. Silly things like, "Have a good day, handsome," or "Don't forget to eat lunch." She thought they were just girlfriend gestures. You kept them? Marcus pulls out his wallet and shows her a small stack of folded papers. Her notes, worn from being carried and read. Every single one. Sarah feels her anger cracking. This is the man she fell in love with. Not Marcus Reynolds, the businessman, but Michael Petrov, the damaged agent who carries her silly notes like treasures. Michael? Yeah? When this is over, when your operation ends, what happens to us? I don't know. I've never had an us to worry about before. Sarah reaches out and touches one of the scars on his hand. I want to try, to figure it out together. Michael looks at her with something like wonder. Even after everything I've lied about? You lied about your job, your name, your past, but you didn't lie about this. Sarah touches her hand to his chest, over his heart. This feels real. Michael covers her hand with his own. It's the most real thing in my life. They're sitting close now, close enough that Sarah can see the flecks of gold in his brown eyes. Close enough that when he leans toward her, she doesn't pull away. "Sarah," he whispers. "Yeah? I know I don't deserve it, but—" The cabin window explodes inward, showering them with glass. Michael immediately throws himself over Sarah, shielding her body as bullets tear through the walls. "How did they find us?" Sarah gasps. Michael pulls her toward the back of the cabin, staying low. "I don't know, but we need to move, now." The romantic moment is shattered, replaced by the urgent need to survive. But as they crawl toward the back exit, Sarah's hand finds Michael's in the darkness. Whatever happens next, they'll face it together.
New beginnings. 6 months later, Sarah walks along the beach in Clearwater, Florida, watching the sunset paint the Gulf of Mexico in shades of gold and crimson. The small coastal town has become home, or as close to home as someone with a fake identity can have. She's Emily Watson now, a freelance graphic designer who rents a cottage 3 blocks from the water. The locals know her as the quiet woman who pays her bills on time and keeps to herself. They don't know that Emily Watson didn't exist 7 months ago. Sarah, Emily, has built a simple life here. Morning runs on the beach, afternoon work sessions at the local coffee shop, evening walks along the pier. It's peaceful, safe, and utterly lonely. Agent Chen calls every 2 weeks with updates. The Kozlov investigation is winding down. 3 major arms dealers arrested, their networks dismantled, millions in assets seized. The operation that destroyed Sarah's old life has been a complete success. But there's been no word about Marcus, Michael, whatever name he's using now. Sarah knows better than to ask. The rules of witness protection are clear. No contact with anyone from her previous life until Chen gives the all clear. But that doesn't stop her from wondering where he is, what he's doing, if he thinks about her during sunset walks like this one. Her phone buzzes. Chen, right on schedule. "Emily, it's time to come home." Sarah's heart skips. The operation is finished? Completely. Kozlov and his entire organization are either dead or in federal prison. You're safe now. And Marcus? Clean extraction. His cover held through the end, and he's been debriefed. Officially, Agent Michael Petrov is being reassigned to a desk job in Washington. Sarah sits down on a piece of driftwood, letting the news sink in. After 6 months of being dead, she can finally come back to life. What happens now? That's your choice. We can relocate you permanently, give you a completely fresh start somewhere new. Or you can reclaim your old identity, return to New York. What about my family? They've been told that you were in witness protection, that the reports of your death were part of an FBI operation. They're angry, confused, but relieved you're alive. Sarah imagines her parents' faces when they find out. 6 months of grieving for a daughter who wasn't really dead. When can I see them? Whenever you're ready. But Emily, Chen's voice grows gentler. There's something else. Someone else who's been waiting for you to come home. Sarah's breath catches. Where is he? That's between you and him. But if you're interested, there's a man named Michael Petrov staying at the Sandpiper Inn, about 2 miles from where you're sitting. Sarah looks down the beach toward the cluster of hotels and restaurants that make up Clearwater's tourist district. How long has he been there? 3 days. He doesn't know I'm calling you. Doesn't know if you'll want to see him. Sarah stands up, brushing sand off her clothes. Chen? Yeah? Thank you. For everything. Good luck, Sarah. The call ends. For the first time in 6 months, Sarah Chen officially exists again. An hour later, she stands outside the Sandpiper Inn, a modest beachfront hotel with weathered blue shutters and palm trees swaying in the evening breeze.
Her hands shake as she approaches the front desk. "I'm looking for Michael Petrov. Room 237, second floor, overlooking the beach." Sarah takes the stairs, her heart pounding harder with each step. 6 months of wondering, hoping, grieving for a relationship that might have been built on lies. And now she's about to find out if any of it was real. She knocks on the door of room 237. Footsteps inside, then the sound of locks turning. The door opens, and Sarah sees him. Michael looks different, thinner, older, with deeper lines around his eyes. His hair is shorter, more silver at the temples. He's wearing jeans and a simple white t-shirt. Nothing designer, nothing expensive. He looks like a normal man, not a spy or a businessman or any kind of cover identity. Sarah. Her name comes out like a prayer. "Hi, Michael." They stand there for a long moment, just looking at each other. Sarah searches his face for any trace of Marcus Reynolds, but all she sees is the man who carried her silly notes in his wallet, who grieved convincingly at her fake funeral. "You look good," he says finally. "Healthy. The beach suits you. You look tired." It's been a long 6 months. Sarah notices he's holding something in his hand, a small Bew box from Tiffany & Co., the engagement ring he tried to give her the night her world fell apart. "May I come in?" Michael steps aside, and Sarah enters the hotel room. It's simple, clean, with a view of the Gulf through sliding glass doors. No luxury, no pretense. "How did you find me?" "I didn't. I've been here for 3 days, hoping you might want to talk. Chen said you were nearby, but that the choice to see me had to be yours." Sarah walks to the window, looking out at the beach where she spent 6 months healing from the lies he told her. "I thought about you every day," Michael says behind her. "Wondered if you were safe, if you were happy, if you hated me. I tried to hate you. And?" Sarah turns around. "I couldn't. Even after everything, even knowing that Marcus Reynolds never existed, I couldn't hate you." "Marcus Reynolds never existed," Michael agrees. "But the man who loved you did. He still does." Sarah looks at the engagement ring box. "Is that why you're here? To propose again?" "No, I'm here to give you this back." Michael sets the box on the dresser. "And to tell you that I understand if you never want to see me again." "What do you mean?" "I mean, I've spent 6 months realizing how much I hurt you, how much I took from you. Your trust, your innocence, your ability to believe in love stories." Michael sits on the edge of the bed, his shoulders slumped. "You deserved better than a man who lied to you for 2 years." Sarah studies his face. "Are you still lying to me now?" "No." "About anything?" "No." "My name is Michael Alexei Petrov. I'm 38 years old. I was born in Russia but raised in Portland, Oregon, by 2 people who loved me enough to give me a chance at a normal life. I became an FBI agent because I wanted to protect people from the kind of monsters I remembered from childhood." Michael meets her eyes. "And I fell in love with you completely by accident." "The accident part, I believe. Everything else?" Sarah sits beside him on the bed, close enough to touch, but not quite touching. "Tell me about the desk job in Washington." "Counterintelligence analysis. Reading reports, identifying threats, briefing other agents. No more undercover work, no more fake identities." "Why?" "Because I can't do it anymore. Can't live a life built on lies." Michael looks out at the ocean. 12 years of pretending to be other people, and the only time I felt real was with you. Even though I was part of your cover? You were never part of my cover, Sarah. You were the reason I wanted to stop having a cover." They sit in silence for a while, listening to the waves crash on the beach below. Sarah thinks about the past 6 months, the loneliness, the healing, the slow process of learning to trust herself again. "Michael?" "Yeah." "When you spoke at my funeral, you said I made you want to be a better man." "I meant that." "I need you to prove it." Michael turns to her. "How?" "By being completely honest. About everything. No more secrets, no more lies, no more protecting me from parts of your life you think I can't handle." "Even the ugly parts?" "Especially the ugly parts." Michael nods slowly. "The woman in Moscow, Katerina, I need to tell her the truth, that I'm alive, that our marriage was part of my cover, that I can't keep sending money without explanation. And your daughter? I don't know. Maybe someday, when she's older, I can tell her who I really am, if she wants to know. Sarah reaches for his hand. That's going to be hard. The hardest thing I've ever done. But I can't build something real with you while living a lie with them. And the FBI? No more undercover work. No more fake identities. If we do this, if we try to build a life together, it's as Michael and Sarah, our real selves. Sarah squeezes his hand. No more Marcus Reynolds? Never again. Sarah stands up and walks to the sliding glass door. The sun is almost down now, turning the sky deep purple and orange. She thinks about the woman she was 6 months ago, naive, trusting, in love with a ghost. Then she thinks about the woman she is now, stronger, wiser, more careful with her heart. Sarah? Michael's voice is uncertain. What are you thinking? I'm thinking that I don't want to be Emily anymore. And? Sarah turns back to him. And I'm thinking that maybe we can figure out how to be ourselves together. Michael stands up slowly, hope flickering in his eyes. You want to try? I want to try. They walk out onto the beach together as the last light fades from the sky. The sand is cool under their feet, the waves gentle against the shore. Tell me something true, Sarah says as they walk. I dreamed about you every night for 6 months. Tell me something else. I kept your notes, all of them, even after you were supposed to be dead. Another truth. I love you. Not the cover version of you, not the convenient version, the real you. The woman who argues with me about movies, steals my coffee, and leaves toothpaste on the bathroom mirror. Sarah stops walking and turns to face him. In the moonlight, Michael looks younger, more hopeful than she's ever seen him. My turn, she says. I love you too. Not Marcus, not the fantasy, Michael. The damaged, complicated, honest man who sacrificed everything to keep me safe. Are you sure? I'm sure. Michael cups